Okay, hello everyone and welcome. Welcome to Cosmic Truth, teaching from the stars, wisdom from the earth. The Cosmic Truth Conference is bringing together a diverse and visionary panel of speakers who will share potent teaching from the stars and sacred wisdom from the earth. We are invited to dive into life-changing and liberating cosmic truth, remembering our divine cosmic heritage and opening up to our magical multidimensional reality so that all together we can offer our highest contribution at this truly momentous time on our beautiful mother planet. I am Anne Lise Ishara, your host and creator of this event, and I am delighted to welcome Matthew John. Hi, Matthew.
Hi, Anne Lise. Thank you for having me. I'm really grateful.
Thank you. Such a pleasure to have you here. Thank you. So let me introduce you to everyone. Matthew John is an internationally recognized spiritual teacher, spiritual mentor, intuitive, psychic, medium, astrologer, starseed guide, energy healer, medical intuitive and life coach, working with angels, archangels, and ascended masters. He is a gifted intuitive wisdom channeler and transmitter of healing frequencies. Matthew has been on a 12 years plus awakening journey. His powerful and effective teachings and healings are a product of many intense awakening experiences, deeply human ordeals, and tens of thousands of hours of study. He receives clear guidance from his guides, which he shares with his followers and clients from around the world. He specializes in helping others to heal their childhood and past life traumas, reading people's life plans from a soul perspective, as well as serving as a mentor for starseeds and those who are looking to accelerate their spiritual development. As a Syrian and Andromedan starseed, Matthew is intimately familiar with the missions of starseeds on this earth. He guides clients and followers to connect with their starseeded essence and to align with their specific starseeded life work. Matthew is a spiritual leader for the Golden Age. He has an innate ability to see the big picture, and this is why he is so effective in assisting his clients and followers to heal, transform, and accelerate their awakening. Matthew resides in Western New York, USA, with his Ascension dog, Sebastian. Welcome again, Matthew. So nice to
Thank
have you
you.
here. I really love everything that you do. I'm so excited
Thank you.
about your topic. So,
Wonderful.
Matthew,
Yeah.
so
I'm excited to dig into my favorite topic to discuss, which is starseeds.
yes, exactly, because we will go in depth about understanding your starseed origins.
Right.
So let's dive in. So, Matthew, could you begin by sharing with us what is a starseed?
Absolutely. So a starseed is a type of soul, meaning that the origins of your soul, if we trace you all the way back, would be somewhere off planet. So the way I like to explain it is there's two types of souls that exist on planet Earth. One type of soul I would call an earth seed, and the other type of soul I would call a starseed. An earth seed would mean that your soul originated from this realm. And we can say that in my view, a soul is really light. What is soul in its essence is light, and somewhere, when every soul, I believe, begins as a single photon of light, and that photon becomes two, then four, then 16, 64, 256, and so on and so forth, and still starts to build what we would call a toroidal field, which is a self-perpetuating field of light with an empty column in the middle. And as that light grows, the soul can take on more and more complex incarnations. So an earthseed soul would come up through the microbial plant and animal kingdom on this realm, where a starseed soul would have began as a single photon of light and gone through some sort of microbial plant animal kingdom on some other realm, whether in this galaxy or a different galaxy, and then continued its evolution up higher through the fourth, fifth, sixth, and higher densities. We could say the fourth density is a unity consciousness experience. We could say the fifth density is a holographic experience. We could say the sixth density is a collective experience, a collective holographic experience. And from that point or higher, the idea is that one has enough light available to it to be able to do what's called fractalize, which means to create basically a new soul out of the light that you have access to. And that new soul you can then direct through focused intention somewhere else in time or space. So for example, let's say a starseed that comes from somewhere like the Andromeda galaxy, is really so many starseeds on Earth and in the Milky Way in general do, that starseed may be a fractal of a collective that exists somewhere in the Andromeda galaxy. They're a collective of a planetary group, a collective of a star system, or a collective of an entire galaxy itself.
So it means souls, starseed souls, or souls in any case, can be in different universe at the same time. I know time is a different concept.
Okay,
but
that's an interesting question. So what I was referring to is the idea of a different galaxy is very common. The idea of different universes, that's a whole nother story. Is it possible? Yes. Have I really seen it? Maybe once in the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people I've worked with. It seems pretty rare. It seems like something, and for that one person, I'm not even sure if it was really the case. So a universe is a whole nother idea. But coming from different galaxies is very common. And from what I've found, is most starseeds actually come from a different galaxy. Either most would come from the Andromeda galaxy originally, or some come from a myriad of other different galaxies. Some of them I have a star map and I can locate them and tell clients, well, I see this is your galaxy here. And then some of them I can kind of get a general idea of where in the sky they are, like what part of the sky, the Taurus region, the Pisces region. But that's about it. I mean, because of course, astronomers know that there's billions and billions and billions of galaxies out there. So the possibilities are quite unlimited. And as you mentioned, there's also the possibility of other universes, right?
It's amazing. It's
yeah, the expansiveness when you think about it is really quite amazing. Yeah.
So actually, I would love to hear, how did you discover that you were a starseed yourself?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's something that was activated in me, I suppose, actually, quite honestly, through some work with psychedelic medicines, especially mushrooms. And I always tell the story of kind of one of the main moments, markers of my awakening in general, where I went on this spontaneous journey after ingesting some psychedelic mushrooms and found myself guided at night to some area in a city I was living that I'd never been to before, and laying down in this circle that looked like people had done fires there, and perhaps homeless people had slept there. But it was this weird cutout circle, like in a perfect circle. And I was kind of pushed down to the ground. And then I saw in the trees above me all of these almost like ornaments, all these different other me's. And some of the other me's were me's from other lives. And then I could also tell in that moment that some of these me's were from other places that weren't Earth. And it was the first time I had the real experience of being a multidimensional being. And I knew from that point forward that I am a multidimensional being, that we really all are. And I had, after that point, I really got interested in figuring out what had I seen during that journey that was off planet. And soon later, after kind of the day after another psychedelic experience, I had just spontaneously come across the term starseed on some internet forum somewhere. This was over a decade ago, before, starseed was really, the term was really knocked around a lot in the New Age community. It was pretty new back then. And as soon as I read the description for Syrian starseed, I just said, oh my God, this is me. I know this is me. And that was a really huge piece to discover that I was real. And then, lo and behold, I started coming across other people, and I would bring up the Starseed topic, and they said, "Oh yeah, I'm Syrian as well." I'd be like, I knew there was just some sort of resonance between us, and it still happens to this day when I encounter Syrian Starseeds that come my way, especially as clients. I just feel this resonance with them.
Yeah, so it's a frequency, in fact.
Yeah, frequency, exactly. If you know whichever place you're from, you're going to find a resonance with other starseeds that are from a similar place. And there were other pieces that, for me, started to come into my knowing over the years. The next piece was the Andromedan piece, where I really just felt the resonance with the Andromeda galaxy, and then to find out that, oh, even if I go back farther than the Syrian piece, I actually come from the Andromeda galaxy, and that the Andromedan starseeds, we tend to be such wisdom seekers and wisdom holders. And I love explaining this to people that are Andromedan starseeds, that see the Milky Way and the Andromeda galaxies are sister galaxies. And we could say the Andromeda galaxy is like the big sister galaxy. And astronomers know that the Milky Way and the Andromeda galaxy are on this very, very slow collision course. It's going to take billions of years, but eventually will merge into one super galaxy. And the metaphor, as far as Andromedan starseeds go, is that imagine that as an Andromedan starseed, since you're from the older big sister galaxy, it's like you're standing on a pedestal and looking down at the Milky Way galaxy and able to see everything that's going on from a very ascended view, from an ascended perch. And as Andromedan starseeds, it's pretty universal that I found is that we tend to be very good pattern recognizers. We tend to be able to look at the affairs of the earth, or just any kind of problem, and see it from a bird's eye view. We also tend to be kind of wisdom seekers and wisdom holders. So that was another understanding of mine that fell into line. Another piece that later on I discovered was the Orion piece of myself, as especially after I started hearing rumors of the Orion Wars, some great war in our galaxy when dark draconian beings were, supposedly taking over innocent 3D or 4D or 5D planets, and kind of just subjecting, very innocent beings to this darkness. And I certainly do believe that that happened, and that is true. And I certainly saw visions of it. And when I would take other clients sometimes to the Orion realms, very often they would see a similar thing of like this experience of having your planet either blown up or having your planet basically taken from you. So that was another piece that I discovered. And then there was also another piece that came along a couple years ago, was this Avian piece. And I had a visitation meditation from blue avian extraterrestrials, and I felt such a resonance with them. And I knew in that moment that this is kind of that other piece. And I also, it gave me an understanding of why I've been so obsessed with birds in this life, which I very much am. I just love watching birds. It's like one of my favorite activities, just sit outside and watch the birds. So all the pieces kind of came at different stages of my awakening. And I find that happens for many of my clients as well, where, they had either a psychic told them, or in one way they became aware they were a Pleiadian being. And then they find out, a couple of years later, oh, there's also this Syrian piece. And then they might find out another piece, because a lot of times when we come across the whole information about starseeds on the internet, there's a bit of this misunderstanding that you have to be from one place and one place only. And people get confused by that, because they'll go to some blog site and read different descriptions of starseed types, and they'll be like, oh, I feel like this, but I also feel like this and this and this. And it's like, who am I? And the truth is that for what I found is that over 50% of starseeds are from more than one place. And there can be many reasons for that. A lot of times, if you're coming from, let's say, the Andromeda galaxy, your soul may have wanted to go on a bit of a journey through the Milky Way. So you might have started in the Lyran realms and then gone to the Syrian realms and then gone to Arcturian realms. Or sometimes some of those pieces are actually occurring in the future relative to where you are on Earth, meaning that someday when your soul is done with however many incarnations you have left, and for many people, this could even be your last on Earth, then you might end up in the Pleiades, for example. Or there's the possibility of also being like a two-step fractal, as I would call it, which means you fractalized from some other galaxy, you came to somewhere here, perhaps Sirius or Pleiades, and you fractalized again and came to Earth. And eventually those fractals return to whence they came. So it is very common to be more than one type of starseed. So if you feel like you resonate with more than one, there's probably a reason for that.
Wow. Okay. I'm just trying to take it in,
It's
and
a lot.
the way you described it, it made me think, and you will tell me if it's correct, but it made me think like starseed souls can be, it's a bit like having the grandfather from Andromeda, the grandmother from Pleiades, whatever, you know, having
Kind of,
a
except
lineage.
it's all you.
Yes.
It's except it's all you. That, yes, and that's actually a good metaphor. It's actually a very good metaphor. Like myself, like the grandfather energy or whatever, like that would be the Andromeda galaxy, because that would be like the oldest and highest self, and then from there it kind of branches down. And I like to kind of draw that out for people when I do my Starseed discovery sessions, is show people, okay, this is your highest self. Your highest self is this eighth density Andromedan being, and then from there you came into the Lyran realms, and then from there you went to Sirius, and then from there you've had another fractal and came to Earth, and next you're going to go back to Sirius, or next you're going to go to a Cassiopean realm or whatever. So I do my best to spell that out for clients.
Wow, it's amazing. And so what is the purpose of Starseeds here on Earth?
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite questions. So it's manifold. For one, it part of the purpose is as simple as the fact that um, Earth is a very low vibrational place in relation to the rest of the galaxy, and really in relation to the rest of the universe, most likely, where the sorts of themes that we experience on Earth, the darker themes like war and corruption and greed and crime and disease, very short lifespans. It's a very dangerous realm. You come here and you could literally die of anything any day. It's a quite dangerous planet to live on, and that actually is exciting to beings that are coming from, believe it or not, that are coming from a higher dimension, because when you're existing at a fifth density or higher, you're not gonna really have much experience with the lower vibrations. So it's actually quite exciting for a being to come from a higher density or dimension down to a lower dimension or density to experience just the polarity, the stark polarity of things. So that's one reason. Another reason is that a lot of us, especially those of us that come from other galaxies, including the Andromeda galaxy, but also just like other galaxies that aren't the Andromeda galaxy, we're kind of unknowingly beacons of sending back information and experience to our home realm. So it's like Star Trek. I don't know if you ever watched any of the iterations of Star Trek. I'm sure a lot of viewers have. I certainly did. And it's like the away team. The away team goes to some planet that they haven't discovered before, and the away team is taking all these samples of the flora and fauna and readings and sending that information back to the Enterprise. And a lot of us, especially those of us that are starseeds from very far away places, we're kind of unknowingly serving as those beacons of gathering information for our collective, believe it or not, to understand what this Earth experience is like, to understand what's going on in this part of the Milky Way galaxy. And then, of course, and this is the part of it that most people that are starseeds that have looked into this already know about, is we're here to serve and to assist the collective of humanity, to assist Earth in experiencing its ascension. Because of course, we are entering into this golden age, the age of Aquarius, moving out of the age of Pisces, and we are, attempting to elevate as a planet from, we could say, the third density to the fourth density, we could say the third dimension to the fifth dimension, elevating frequency, so we don't have the stark polarity anymore of war and greed and crime and disease and corruption and all that, and we can all live, collectively in harmony. So as starseeds, we come from collectives where that's already the case. If you come from a Pleiadian collective, you come from a Sirian collective, an Arcturian collective, you come from a collective that's already learned how to live harmoniously, learned how to use technology to benefit the whole rather than to harm. You've live in a collective where everyone respects everyone else, where everyone has enough sustenance, even from collectives where the idea of like consuming sustenance through food isn't relevant anymore, or isn't that relevant. So we come from these very ascended places, and that's why the starseed souls are on the leading edge of the revolution of consciousness on this planet, because we come from places where we've already done that. We've already experienced that with collective. So the idea is that as the Earth experiences its ascension, we're moving from being all these fearful individuals that are just basically fighting for survival, basically stuck in the root chakra, to how we'll know when we're actually starting to really earnestly ascend as a planet is when we're thinking as one planet and not as just individuals. And for those of us in communities like you and I share, and shows like this, we're already doing that. So we're on the leading edge of that revolution of consciousness, and we're energetically allowing the space by being the front runners, the way showers, for eventually the rest of the planet to catch up. So that's why so many starseeds are finding themselves activated and awakening. Before you read my bio, it says 12, now it's 13 years since my awakening kind of started. Before that, I was just, a regular guy. I was always very interested in the stars. I was always very interested in always been an animal lover and a plant lover. But I didn't really I didn't have an awakening until it happened. When I was in my teens and early 20s, I wouldn't have been interested in this stuff too much until the awakening happened. And I hear that from so many clients that, oh my God, I had this spontaneous awakening 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And that's happening more and more. And almost all of the people that I'm coming across are starseeds. And what's happening is that they're being awakened from their slumber. They've always been starseeds. Even in past lives, they've been starseeds on Earth. But now, because of where the Earth and the solar system are in relation to the photon belt, the Earth and the solar system are moving closer into the photon belt, that it is causing an activation within us to occur. And like my friend and one of the people I respect the most in the community, Todd Deviney, he calls it the barrier membrane. The barrier membrane, which is at the top of our auric field, as starseeds starts to dissipate, and we start to have a stronger energetic connection with those parts of self. So that's why so many are being activated at this time. And by the way, I also want to mention, I do credit a lot of the way that I explain kind of the more logical left brain quantum physics-y type way that I did about how the difference between starseeds and earthseeds are. I do credit to my good friend Todd Deviney, his wonderful books, Expansion for Ascending Consciousness. If you want to dig into the left brain scientific side of understanding starseeds and ascension, I highly recommend his work.
Well, thanks. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
And so this made me, while you were explaining this, I thought about all the new babies now. Are they all starseeds?
Oh, yes.
Are they some of them?
That's a great question. That's a great question. Wow. I think that that almost all of them are. Yes. I think that the numbers are growing. People ask me on these shows, and just clients ask me, well, how much of the planet is starseeds? What do you think, or what have you been told? And at the beginning, I used to think that it was a very, very small number. And that has changed over time as I've started to delve deeper into this topic and really make it my principal point of research. I now believe that at least 40% of the entire planet is starseeds. The thing is that out of that 40%, and what is 40% of 8 billion? You know, that's a lot. That's like 3.5 billion people. I know it's not 8 billion yet, so it's probably about 3 billion people. That's an insane amount of people. But the thing is out of those, let's say 3 billion, how many have yet to be activated? Probably like 99%. We're still at the and people forget this because in the new age circles, we tend to live in an echo chamber, which is good because it keeps us in a high vibration, but sometimes it also gives us unrealistic expectations of what should be going on in the outside world. And I like to try to be a grounding force to the community in ways that I can to remind us that we're at the very beginning stages still of an awakening, an ascension journey from a planetary perspective. You know, I believe that the age of Aquarius, the marker of that was December 21st, 2012. I was down in Mexico at the pyramids in Palenque, and I believe that was the beginning of the age of Aquarius. And so what, we're 10 years in? The age of Aquarius is 2,156 years long. So we got 2,146 years to go. So we need to hold our horses and be a bit patient and understand that a lot needs to play out in world affairs. And yes, the starseeds are leading the way. And yes, everything we're talking about in these echo chambers are real and important. But at the same time, it will take a while for the rest of the planet to start to fall into line with where we're already at. So we just need to give it a lot of time, really.
Right. And actually, one question I was also interested to ask you is, how can starseeds best accelerate their evolution for their ascension and also the collective ascension?
Yeah, wonderful. I think the best way is to really find purpose, to find a strong sense of purpose. And for example, in my Starseed discovery sessions, where I lead people on an astral journey to their home planet or place of origin, one thing that I always like to do is when we have them there, they're on their home planet, they're feeling, oh my God, I'm home, this is amazing. A lot of times they're crying. And I like to have them connect with the guides that are there or their family that is there to really get clarification on why they wanted to come to Earth. Because a lot of times, yes, especially coming from faraway places, it is just to kind of see what this place is like. But most of the time, there's a strong element of some sort of purpose of wanting to contribute something pretty specific to this whole process here. So for some person, it could be to come to be of service to horses. For some person, it could be to start a dog sanctuary. Some person, it could be to be of service to autistic children. Some people, it could be to teach people, you know, telepathy and telekinesis. There's many different possibilities, of course, and it's all unique to the person. But discovering whatever that thing is, that reason. And also, it gives you so much life. It gives you an excitement to get up in the morning and to live and to contribute. You know, I feel such excitement doing my own work 7 days a week. I wouldn't do it 7 days a week if I didn't feel a sense of excitement doing the type of work that I do. So finding that strong sense of purpose is the number one thing I recommend. And the number two thing is to really get in touch with the earth itself, to get in touch more with plants and animals, because first of all, the earth is so nurturing in that way, but also we're meant to contribute our energies to the earth, the energies that we're kind of unknowingly streaming through. We're meant to contribute that to the earth grid. And some of us starseeds are meant to be what is called grid workers or grid walkers, which means we're actually meant to find ourselves geographically, physically at some of the important grid points around the earth at different times. It doesn't mean you have to live there, but you could just end up traveling there. And also many of us are meant to be grid workers through meditation, I love leading groups on grid work meditation. So those would be my two. And of course, learning self-love is an important part of the journey for all beings, star seeds or earth seeds, and learning to move out of whatever traumas that still exist somewhere in our lower chakras from early in this life, from other lifetimes. So those would be the three things I would point people to.
Well, thank you. And maybe, do you have any final words of wisdom to end this conversation?
Sure. It's just that try to remember, despite what's going on in the outside world, and the news is almost never positive, but it almost never has been positive. I mean, news has always been kind of dark, but despite what's going on in the outside world, there is a greater awakening that is occurring on this planet, and also that there are benevolent extraterrestrials that are working with us on this planet. It's just that they're not intervening directly, because that's not what they're supposed to do, at least not at this point. And I don't even think they're supposed to in general. The point is that they're there as teachers, and we can access them as teachers. We can access their energies. We can learn healing techniques from them. We can learn wisdom from them. We can learn how they do things on their collective that we may be from originally, and how we can do that here. But the point is that as a human race, we're supposed to, ideally, I believe, do this ascension process pretty much on our own, with support, but without direct intervention. So if you're interested in all of this extraterrestrial stuff, keep seeking. Seek out channeled books. There's so many wonderful channeled books from extraterrestrials. Seek out doing your own channeling. Seek out connecting with your extraterrestrial self. Feel free to contact me somehow if you'd like to connect with your extraterrestrial self. And there's always wisdom and energy and techniques that you can channel through from our extraterrestrial friends. So they're always here. And also, of course, there's people, I get clients like literally once a week, someone will tell me, oh, I saw this UFO or this UFO. People send me pictures. Like, the ships are everywhere. So they're here and they're supporting us. It's just they're doing it not quite in vogue yet. They're doing it more in the background, which is what is in our highest good as a human race. So we can do this process on our own. So we can learn on our own.
Wow, thank you. Such a positive outcome and such a mind-blowing conversation. Thank you so much, Matthew.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah.
So, so to conclude, I know you are sharing a free gift, beautiful free gift with the audience.
Yes.
You are offering a guided meditation to meet your spirit guides and activate gifts. So could you explain what it is in a few words?
Absolutely. So one of my favorite things that I do in my work is helping to connect people with spirit guides. And it's one of the most common questions that I get asked. And so I created a guided meditation. It's short, concise, it's 12 minutes long. It's very easy to do. You could do it right after breakfast, and it will help to connect you with spirit guides. And I've gotten so many emails and so many messages and people telling me over the years that this simple 12-minute meditation would help them to connect with a brand new guide. And now they have a relationship with this guide. And also there's an exercise in this meditation to activate your psychic gifts. And I have had people tell me that after doing this meditation, they've had new gifts come online or be enhanced. So I definitely recommend everyone take advantage of this opportunity and do this guided meditation I created.
Awesome. Thank you. Great. So thank you again for being.
Oh, thank you so much.
To the audience, thank you for being here with us. I hope you received so much from this amazing conversation with Matthew. And stay tuned. We have many more wonderful interviews coming your way. So goodbye, Matthew. Thank you again.
Namaste.